Hello everyone, it's Sunday, March 8th, 2015, around 10:30 a.m. out walking the big guy, and it's about a glorious 40 degrees Fahrenheit here in New York City, and it feels absolutely like summer. Wow, I'm back to shooting my video this way, at least for today. A combination because my hand won't freeze, and I guess I've gotten a little bit tired of the kind of rhythm of Google Glass on my YouTube video feed, always looking like the same, looking out at a snowfield. But I guess it's kind of the same here, just looking at my face. But at least this way I can hit the pause button to do some on-the-fly editing, which gets to the point I want to talk to this morning, which is pandering to your YouTube or otherwise audience versus just doing your thing because you want to do it and you like to do it and you're feeling generous enough to share a bit of this with the world for better or for worse and for whatever it's worth. And so I'm definitely doing the later. I'm an idea capturing person. I've done it all my life, probably rather inefficiently in this notebook or that, on this computer or that, rarely in a unified fashion, and even rarer still shared and put to use in any meaningful way, except those occasional ideas which you snatch up and develop further, which is kind of the point of this entire thing. And things have changed a little bit in the world because capturing ideas can now be the same thing as putting them to use in the world in some meaningful way. As small as my audience is, there are those who tune in and watch every day, and that makes me feel kind of good about my decision because I'd rather not pander. I pander enough in my actual day job, my career of search engine optimization, where I basically tell clients how to use whatever topic or subject matter their company or service is about and step into the path of existing searchers. Because unless you're, newsworthy or have an enormous budget, you're not going to change search patterns, the, searching behavior of the world at large. All you can do is sit back and sort of analyze it. By the way, I thought I'd show a little patch here. There's this nice path of someone who has decided, like me, to not break their neck, but then they gave up right about here. So onto the unpressed down snow the best I can. And yeah, so search patterns are what search patterns are, and the field of SEO is greatly about figuring out how to tell your clients what to create content on that is legitimately subject matter that they should be publishing on, which also has search volumes associated with it in the right, regions, if there's some way to determine by the right demographics and people. And it used to be in SEO, if you write it, they will come, because there were few enough other people doing this same process that once you stepped into something that was, that where you were one of the pioneers to think to optimize on this subject matter, it's really, really easy. And you didn't have to do much more than to put out half decent content on that subject matter. And when I got started in the field of SEO, I was working for a company that created software to turn TVs into signs, the kind that you see, say, in Burger King with their menu so that they can update and change their menus more easily, the kind that you see in Times Square and all over New York City. And back in those days, TVs were not flat yet. They were those big clunky cathode ray tube devices. So it was kind of hard to do and a big deal every time. But nonetheless, that's when they got into the business. And then screens became flat, and people were able to do this more. The idea spontaneously occurred to many more people who had the need to do this, for companies who wanted to have an internal communication system so that they could get the word out faster even than email, which did exist in those days, but not everyone opened their emails or read everything that was necessary. So a company would throw up a monitor in the lobby and everyone would be sure to have seen the message. And no one knew what to call this emerging industry, so I, amongst others, zeroed in on the concept of digital signage. And, you know, I wrote prolifically on the topic. And by doing that in combination with a website that was a full suite of business software, from generating the lead in the first place with SEO, to lead capture, to enticing them into discussions, to taking the orders, to you know, profiling the customer for case studies, to answering their tech support cases and keeping it in a knowledge base, and then taking everything that was publishable and plowing it back into the public website. And that's what I was doing back in those days. That was like 2001, 2002. Had I turned this into an actual product, I would have been, say, I don't know, HubSpot today, at very least, maybe Salesforce. There are certain aspects of it that were even far ahead of Facebook, but I didn't. And, you know, I'm probably better off not being one of these tycoons. It's not my personality. I like doing my thing. And so that gets us right back around full circle. I'm doing my thing again, and that is, as the field of SEO transforms yet again, the concepts are going to start to form around creating payloads and letting those payloads out into the world in whatever form they take. You know, people get hung up on, is it a web page, is it a mobile app, is it print? But it doesn't matter if it's something that can be, you know, at least figuratively picked up by a human being, a person, and consumed, read, interacted with, and passed along to someone else if they find it interesting, referred to, linked to, it doesn't matter. Then you've got the dynamic that is necessary for SEO. Because even though the actual propagation of the payload, the passing it around the network, is in the realm of content marketing and social media, SEO is the practice of making sure that the payload has that potential, has the capacity, that A, all the technical things have been taken care of, and that B, it has the right subject matter, that it is in the right area or topic, such that there is the interest in search patterns. You can create the best, most viral payload in the world, but if it's only for people who are looking for lightweight Linux virtual machines that don't require an installer admin rights, you are inherently limited to a tiny, tiny audience, hence Linux. But if you turn it into something that can help anyone who's trying to turn themselves into a social media presence into a larger, more effective presence by tracking their progress and asking them to spend no money to do so, and to make them, hi there, thank you, to make them all around better at what they do, perhaps even add a bunch of technical abilities to their tool bag that they never dreamed they would have had in the first place. And bottom line, improving their life. One of the big, big things to offer people, just use what I'm offering and you improve your life. Then you have a much, much, much larger audience, hence Pipulate. And of course, Pipulate runs on Linux, and Linux is something that can just be dropped out there onto the network as a payload. I can either allow it to be discovered by optimizing for terms like tiny virtual machine, or I can content market it. Say, if you're looking for this, come get it, but can hardly content market virtual machines, but I can content market free and open source tools for social media and SEO. So, create the payload and do a little content marketing and practice what I preach. Use my very own tools to improve, refine, and live the same dream that I'm promising other people. So, in the choice between pandering to your audience and talking about and writing about those things that you know would spike audience numbers, like I could do every little thing about the Vim text editor and I know my numbers would be going up. Or I can forge ahead with this Pipulate project that touches so many people's lives someday, but not in the immediate future. In the immediate future, it really only improves things for me and a very, very small group of early adopter beta testers that I'm looking for now. And that is by far the more satisfying path. That's the path I'm going down now. And that is probably enough for this video. So thanks for joining me. Hope to talk to you soon. And don't forget to subscribe.